All right, we're just going to jump right on in. I've been taking out all of the Tailwind styling that I've been using for this template project that I've been working on. So I've done some of it outside of the stream just because I didn't want to do all of it here, but we've made some pretty good progress, and I thought I would pick it up back here. So let's get my server running first. So in the terminal, pnpm run dev, let that boot up, and then go ahead and refresh here. And so all of these that are closed now, I have done a refresh for. So I really only have these 3 left, which is no biggie. So we've got steps with icons, which before I do that, I'm actually going to change one other thing here, because what got me started on all of this is these like wildcard selectors down for an SVG icon that I wanted to use for these icons. So instead of that, I actually want to replace those with, let's see if it'll let me stay logged in. I want to replace them with images, which I think I added back the actual image. Oh, gotta log in with dev.payloadCMS. Very secure password. And if I go to my home page, and then I'm just going to search for not FAQ. I need icon. Steps with icons. Okay, so yes, I do have the image. So I should be able to choose from existing. And what I was trying to do was I wanted to be able to style the SVG based on text stylings and text color from CSS, but that's not likely going to happen. So what I'm going to do instead is just have an image, and then if I need to update the color of it, I just have to update the actual logo. So not logo, the actual icon. So I'm going to go ahead and save these. Oh, okay, and so this icon here is a relationship with the icon collection that I have, and so I was going to use this as like a way to preview and have the SVG code here within the code. Doesn't seem really necessary, but if we want it, I guess we could. Siri's trying to talk to me. Get out of here. Turn my music back on. It doesn't, like, I could leave this here and then have some flexibility, but the amount of work that it would take to make all of those SVG icons or drop them in here and then have a whole collection, it just doesn't seem worth it. So I'm going to remove that and replace it with just images. Yeah, it just seems like a smoother, easier way rather than having something so bespoke here. So what I'll do is I'm going to go to my payload section and then go to my steps with icons. I already added the image back. I would love to do here to remind me of what I wanted to do. And we can get rid of this. Oh, I meant to save. Hopefully that doesn't screw stuff up. And when I save, yeah, we have the image, but we do not have the icon anymore. That's going to mess up my front end, and I know that. That's okay. And then we're going to come down to our collections. We're going to delete icons because I don't need that. Anyway, and then we're going to come down to, let's see where we're going to come down to, payload config. And then we're going to remove icons from our collections. So a lot happened, and then I need to make sure icons. This is, oh yeah, I can remove that. I want to leave that. Steps with icons can stay. Icons. Okay, that can go away. And that should be good. Now going to, well, let's refresh the back end. Make sure that this comes back up. Yep, okay, so the CMS is good. But here, this I already had in the code. So I actually need to remove steps, steps with icons index right here. And I need to remove this code, or really just replace it. So I'm going to replace this with my own custom image object, which we can talk about later. And then I will do image is equal to step dot icon. I need to generate types. So 1 second there. Come back over to my terminal. Oh, it worked this time. Terminal. And then, oh no, let's do, where's my terminal here? Payload generate types. So hopefully that changed some things. So we can set image, no, not image, step dot icon, I believe, dot, nope. Let's see. Let's take a look at, okay, let's get rid of this for a second. All right, go to the API. Let's see what this response is supposed to look like. Step 1, 2, 3. Then we have steps with icons. Step 1. So we're looking at step, and then there should be, yeah, step image image. Okay. So I don't know what I did to mess that up, but step. Step dot okay, so I think something else is messed up here. So let's refresh. Let's restart our terminal. Oh, messing everything up right now. Bring that back. Don't need this. Terminal. Restart that. All right, so now we should be able to do step. Oh, I understand what's happening now. So it's not icon anymore. So I need steps image with image object type. So let's see if that actually worked then. So far so good. Steps with icons, but there's no image. So let's see what's going on in the code here. Let's give myself some more screen space. So we got our div here, span. Okay, so this is just the content. So we've got our div, should be text center. So there should be an image here. Why not? Okay, so there's the image now. All right, so now obviously that style is going to need to change. And so to get to that change though, let's copy this and then just undo a bunch of stuff. And actually, I didn't even need to copy because I'm going to copy something else instead once it gets back to this, because I want to steal that style. So let's redo, did I get all the styles? I did, okay. Redo all of that to our working state. And now we are going to do a class name and do this as classes.icon. And then we're going to, we don't need this, going to import classes from index, which, do I even have this already set up? I do. So we import classes from index.css, and then we're going to do icon. Move this up a little bit. And then, so I'm going to use this Tailwind styling to set up what I actually want. So I don't need the text color, but we can do margin bottom of, that's 2. And then we should be able to set the height to 24 pixels and the width to 24 pixels. So let's see what that does. So not much for an image. So let's see, then instead, let's do our last third. There we go. Let's get the dock out of the way. There we go. So we can do height at, let's say, 100% and see what that does. Okay, not exactly what I wanted. So let's do a height of auto and a width of 100%. Okay, so better, not what I'm looking for, but not terrible. So, and it is responsive, which is kind of what I was looking for. But instead of width 50% or 100%, we can see what 100 or 50% looks like. Which is probably still a little too big. We can do 33%. And then let's center it and do margin right, auto, margin left auto. Perfect, so that will do. So that's our icon. Now we're going to replace this with some other code that I've been working on. So we're actually going to use a flex container for all of this. And so this is going to be classes.step container. And so what we're going to do here, come to step container. And what I've been doing here, so we're going to do display flex, and then we'll do, here's the code that we're going to be looking at. So I have this, the container. This is from just this section up here. And what I'm looking to do is as I get out further, it then splits 2 at the top and then 1 along the bottom, and then it'll eventually go to all on the same row. The benefit I'm seeing here is now if I wanted to add this, like another step, I don't have to use any kind of fancy logic. I can just keep adding steps and it'll automatically make each of the steps look pretty nice. And so, I mean, eventually, like, even at a lot of steps, it'll start to look okay here. So I do limit the number of steps here. Let's refresh and get rid of all that. So we're able to really minimize what would be like it would look okay up here because it has that nice like mosaic look, but down here we get a little hairy. So we're going to just copy all of this because this is what we're using for the container. And then we have a gap of 8, so I'm going to use the 2 rem here for this number. So if I refresh that, nothing should really change. Oh, well, it does change because it's now wrapping. So now at the smallest screen size, it'll always be 1 column. So now I'm going to take this here. This would be considered a step. And so what this was doing is that if the item was the last one and was like the total number of steps wasn't even, it would roll the last one down and then make the last item take up the entire space. And so that's really much easier to do with a flexbox instead. So I'm still going to copy all of this. Let's just take all of this between the quotes, and then I'm going to do classes.step. And then we will come here and do step. and then take the class out of here that we need, which is going to be text align center. And we don't need either of these column things, but what we do need are these flex items here. So I'm going to take this flex 1, 0, 100. And so what this is saying is that we've got our flex, grow, shrink, and basis. So the what this is saying is that the item can grow relative to the other items around it, but it cannot shrink. And at most, it'll take up 100% of the surrounding area. So that's not going to change anything for it being so small here. So that makes sense. But now, if we do this, it'll stay one column. So what we want to do is at a size above, we will want to do flex basis of 48%. So let's take a look at what this is going to do, because it may not do anything here. Yep, okay. So we have that step 3 is now taking up 100% of the space below. That's okay with me, because what I'm going to do is make these take up more space as well, and maybe even let this shrink a little bit more. But anyway, so now this is saying that the items, once it gets to this screen size, well, this screen size, the items should take up no more than 48% of the space available. And if it does, it'll take the next row available and fill up the space 100%. And so now I'm going to do that again, and we're going to have it so we can have 3 on one line at a bigger screen size. So now if I stretch this out, we have 3. And so obviously these are different sizes. We will get these aligned to the top. We can actually do that now, where we can, instead of doing align item center, we can do align items flex start. And that brings them all up to the top, I believe. That looks off. That's right. But now if I shrink this down, these stay there. This still takes up all of the space. And then it shrinks down to 1 column. And so now this takes up 3 spots. And I think that's going to be enough, because we don't want this to be too much on one screen. And so if we add a 4th, it'll come on the wrong one. Let's go here. Come on. Select this one. Okay, or not. Section container, it's this one. Here we go. Don't know why it wouldn't let me select that. So now if I add another one, it'll drop down to the bottom and take up 100% of the space. If I add another one, it takes up 50% of the space, and then again, it'll take up 30% of the space in order to have 3. And so now, if I refresh this, the thing that we probably want to address is that this is just really big at this screen size. So these look nice, but then this one doesn't. So instead of that, maybe I can just do at even the small size, if we do 30%, how cramped does that look? It doesn't look too bad. And so maybe not at the small break, but we can have this grow a little bit bigger and do, I have a couple of different sizes here. So instead of the mid break, which is really what Tailwind called large, I have a medium small break, which would be 768 pixels plus. So it did update. So maybe I do need to go up to the mid break. And so we've got the icons there, and then as we get bigger, splits to 3, and that looks okay. So I'm cool with this. I'm not really cool with this. So this is where things get interesting, because now how can I put these on the same line? So if I want to do this again, I include not mid break, but we can do meet small break, and then set flex basis to, oh, maybe this is what we need to do. So we need to do flex, and then 0, 0, what was it, 48%? So there we go. So now this won't take up, it won't grow beyond what I have here. So it won't grow, it won't shrink, but it'll stay this size. And now here, the gap between these two sections is a little big, so we're going to come here and do a, I do like the gap in between those, so we're going to do a, this is column gap, 2 rem, and then we're going to come down here and do a row gap of 1 rem. So that should bring this up. That's still even too much. I wonder if there's a margin or something, which there probably is. Yeah, there's a margin top there, but I do want that. So that tells me that I don't even need a row gap, and that should bring it close enough there, because it is naturally got about, what is that? Margin top of 2 rem already. So if I keep that, we're in good shape. So now though, steps with icons. So what we can do is now go to our H3, which is kind of what we were just messing with. So I'm gonna copy all of this and a couple of things that we don't actually need. I don't think actually we need any of this. So I'm just gonna leave it as H3 and see what happens. Because I believe I have global styles. Yep. Okay, so we do though need class name, classes, step header. I'm going to take that, go to steps with icons, come down here to step, I wonder if I have it, yeah, step header, and then we're just going to do a margin bottom of 2 rem. The color is right, but that should bring that there, and now we can do a gap of 2 rem, which should bring this back down to a comfortable distance. So that's it for steps with icons so far. Looks good as we build the screen up, then comes here. Oh, I need a small break. So that actually needs to be small break. Okay, so I guess 48 is too much. There we go. So the thing that's happening here is that the flex percentage, which would be kind of like the width of it, is taking into account this gap. So it's not going to be exactly 50%. And same down here with 30%. 3 fit on the screen and they fit perfectly because of how flex works, but it takes into account the gap, which prevents it from, it's not actually spaced perfectly because I need to change this from center to space between, and then it'll do it right. Where is it? All right, there we go. So now it works as I want it to, but since we have this gap here, this is considered part of like the 100% gap here. So that's the thing that's different about grid and flex as well, is that grid will adjust accordingly, flex will not. So if you have a gap, make sure you account for it here in your flex basis. All right, so that's step header, step icons, and then I don't need text dark green because that is just how lexical works. I don't think I even need that. So I will need to change this to text center. I don't. Great. So now I got rid of a couple of unnecessary divs, which is always nice to clean stuff up. But now we have our step container, which contains the whole step. We have our step, which includes a header, an image, which is the icon, and then some rich text. And then all of that is led by an actual header, so the header here with steps with icons, in a content container which sets the max width, and a section container which gathers it all together. So now everything is in sections. Perfect. So after steps with icons, we do have our summary, which this is going to be very easy to do. Instead of just typing all of this, I've been copy and pasting it across. So we're going to create a new module, do index.module.css, paste those in, and then we can close steps with icons. Our payload, we'll keep global CSS. And so some of the things that changed here is I do have variables to keep me on track with the colors that I'm using. Font family, which can change later. Dark mode is ready to go as soon as I want to actually build that out. But then I have done some styling to the H1, 2, and 3, and then of course added color, the primary text color that I wanted to use for all of the text headers and paragraph as well. I did also include clamps for font sizes on the H1, 2, 3, and paragraph tags, because I did want the text to be a little bit more fluid as well. So what this is doing is saying that at minimum it needs to be 2 rem, at maximum it needs to be 2.5 rem, and you can make increments up or down by 2.5% of the view width. I also did include some aspect ratio classes here to make my life easier instead of having to type those in. But I actually don't even need those anymore because I made them into variables in my SCSS. But we'll come back to that later when we clean up. So summary. So this is just a reminder that it'll have a different layout. It'll likely be an aside rather than a part of like the actual page layout here. So let's go ahead and take what we have though. Got our section container. We will import classes from index. And then we can get rid of the header section because as we looked at, our H1, 2, and 3 are already going to have that text dark green. Same with our thing there. All right, and then what we need to do is remove this, do classes, do summary container, and then we will take all of those classes, do a background color variable of our light primary color. We're going to include rounded, which I just made into the rounded extra large. Then we'll have a padding of 2 rem. We're going to include shadow small. And now the width I'm concerned about. So this is what happened. So I obviously don't want it to take 100%. We need to look at that. Okay, so real quick, going back to steps with icons. So we have space between, which is kind of what we just want at the large screen size. So we're going to move this down and do that. Include, we'll do, what do I have it at, mid break, okay. And then at all small sizes, we can do justify content center. So now that'll bring it back to the center. And it doesn't really even impact this. And so as we get bigger, now it's space between. Great, so that looks good. Coming back here to the summary block, maybe we can just do, instead of setting a percentage width, we could do width fit content maybe. I don't know if that's how that actually works. It is how it works, but we also don't want it to grow. So if we want to do a max width of, we could say like 25%. Yeah. then let's see, go look here. We'll copy this and just add to it. Oop. See what happens. Oh, editing the wrong thing again. So this won't get too long, but yeah. So 25% is probably not enough. Got our section container, summary container. So maybe let's set it to be 33%. Yeah, so now that would apparently fit 3 of these if they were flexed. Okay. Not worth checking out, but yeah. So we let that grow, and that's good. But then we get to the small size. So let's set it to do min width as well. Oh, that is 33%. Okay. So that's not going to work either. So what we could do, let's see here. Okay, idea. So we're going to wrap this in a grid. So we've got our section container. Let's do a grid that we have, that we built. And so what this does, I can show you, is once I wrap it in a grid, it now has 12 columns. And so instead of trying to set a set width at whatever sizes, we're just going to let it breathe. And then at the smallest screen size, so we'll start and do a column span of not column span. It's grid column. I want span 12. And so that's going to take up 100% of our grid. And then at include, let's say, our small break, we'll do grid column, not span 1, but we'll do span 4 maybe. So as we get bigger, and then at larger sizes, so 4 should be plenty. And then we need to do one other thing here. We're going to add the content container, because that's setting the max width to be with everything else. So let's make sure that that's in there. Perfect. So now that's good. And then at a larger size, we don't need it to be quite as big, so we'll do at our mid break maybe. Let's see, do 2. Okay, so 2 is not enough there. Okay, so it'll never be enough. So let's do 3. So looks fine. And here as well, I don't need the text to be so large. And so we're going to change that if we're able to, but we'll see. All right, so we'll do class name, classes, we'll do summary text, and then class name, classes.summary header. We'll start there. Let's do summary header and then summary text. And then we can do, let's say, font size. I don't have that variable set, but that is what I'm looking to do. Do I have this variable set? I didn't think so. So what we'll do is like 0.75 rem, and then a smaller line height. Will this tell me the default if I hover over it? .2 is roughly what they do, so we'll do 1. And then here we'll do font size of 1.2 rem. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so summary header did not seem to take any kind of effect. Oh, I'm not even there. Summary header. So let's set you down to maybe 1. Okay, so what's happening then? Oh, okay. It's the H2 that is taking control there. So here, this is where I really like SCSS, is I want to make anything inside 1 rem, and so that should work there. Yeah, all right. But that's too small. So let's see what it looks like at 2 rem. All right, so that's where it's normally, so 1.25 maybe. And I can shrink this so that I can see what I'm doing. There's our summary block. 1.25 still seems a little small. There we go, and then I can set this back up to 1. And then let's take the margin bottom off of this. Okay, is there a margin bottom to this? Or is there a margin top to this? No. Okay, there is, just at the top level. So change that to 1 rem. There we go. So that feels a little bit better. Now I bring this out. Now let's remove the line height. Yeah. There we go. So now we'll have a short summary block that'll likely fall into place in a blog rather than an actual page like this. So yes, I'm sure I could have done that with Tailwind, but that was way easier for me. So then the last part, I believe, is going to be our table of contents. Let's make sure I got rid of all of that stuff for summary though. Yep, this is all what I need here. So let me take a look real quick. I've got an FAQ section, and yeah, that's right again. Okay. Perfect. I think I didn't set any of these actual anchors right, but that's okay. So let's go to our summary. We're going to copy those. Go to table of contents. We'll create a new style sheet, index.module. Do that number. Pull this up and get to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this into a, well, there's no real reason to make it into a grid. But also there's no reason for it to get this wide over content. So maybe I make this smaller as well. Seems to be a great job for a flexbox. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take all of this, or get rid of that. And we can import classes from index. Now let's take this and do classes dot table of contents container. See container. And then let's see here. So we've got our container, which we will do a display flex. And then we'll do flex of, we'll say 100%. And then we can do padding of 2rem. We don't need to do the 2XL, so we're just going to include rounded, which should be plenty. And we're going to include a small shadow, which should also be plenty. So if I do that, nothing should change except for the shadow. Oh, and the background color, which I did not set. So let's do a couple things here. So I need to do content. I actually need the content container to be flex, or we just do this and set that to be another div. Get that set back right. Then we can have our background color of light primary. There we go. So now that is back in shape. And so now instead of that max width being so big, we can actually do a max width of, we can say like 640 pixels maybe. I've got to let the dog in. Never mind. Doesn't want in. All right, so now that we've got our max width set to 640, which does look like a good amount. Let's actually set it to 48 rem. Let's see what happens. There you go. That looks fine too. And then we want to center it. So we'll do justify content center. Not what I was looking for. We'll do margin auto. There we go. We got our table of contents, which should bring us to the rest of the page if I had set up the anchors right, which I did not. So we'll come up to the table of contents. Got our table of contents container, which, can this take a class name? Because it may make more sense to just not introduce a new bit of complexity there. Yes, it's just one div, but still. Perfect. So now we've got our actual table of contents container here. The header, which doesn't have any classes on it. Okay, so I need to make this no component. I left a reminder for myself to do that. Let's go ahead and take care of the classes first, though. So we have, this is going to be, let's actually do it this way. So right half, nope, last third, there we go. So we got a couple of things going on here. So we have our, I'm going to do this a little differently. We have our link container. Then we have our do I even need this div then? So I think the link container can actually be the unordered list or the ordered list, whichever. And then we can do a I don't know. So it's table of content. Plural would be tables of content. The contents, though, I guess it's content container would be too difficult. So if we do, sure, a link container, I don't need to think too difficult about it. Oh, it's a table of contents. It's supposed to link. So then link, and then I think that's it. link which may go to, yeah, so it's an actual link under there. So we may, let's see, we definitely have to have the link item, but does this need to be a list? Yes, it does. Okay, because I want to be able to choose between an ordered and an unordered list depending on if they choose a number. So now we will have list, and then we can do, I don't think I need to style anything in there. So we'll see here though. All right, so that should be all we need. And then for our link container, we just want padding bottom to be 0. And then here, we don't need to set the text. We don't need, okay. Oh, padding. So padding top is going to be 0.5 rem. Padding bottom 0.5 rem, and then we're going to do and last child. We'll set the padding bottom to 0. So we go over to table of contents. I don't think we need this, so I'm going to add link container. Padding left should be 1 rem. Padding right 1 rem. So now we can go to table of contents and change this to, delete that and that. Change this class name to link container. Change this class name, oops, to link. Oops. Get rid of this class name and actually make this look nicer. And then we don't have anything here. So now if I refresh this, nothing should change. That's right. So Tailwind by default removes the styles of a list. So I'm actually, let's see if just getting rid of these helps that. Okay, so that messed up a few things. But I got that back to normal. Okay. Oh boy, okay. So, I mean, I need to handle that now anyway. So let's start with table of contents since I'm already there. I wonder though, if I turn base back on, will this tell me what it does? No. So let's go ahead and get rid of Tailwind completely. And then fix table of contents the rest of the way through. And I do want this to be, I don't know if it needs to be a component, but anyway, so link, let's see if text decoration can be none here, or if it needs to go, nope, it needs to go to the A, which is not a big deal. Let's actually do this and set a link text instead and do text decoration none. that won't change anything because I need to add it to class name, classes, text, or link text. Perfect. So now, what's happening here? Do I just need to set RP margin to be zeros? Because that's easy. So let's set margin to 0. Okay, maybe not 0. What can I do? 0.50. Okay, that feels fine. I already set that. That's good. Okay, so I think that's fine. So it looks like the aspect ratio things got messed up the most. Or maybe not. So let's take a look though. We'll start from the top. But first I need to finish this. So we have so we can do I wonder, I've never tried anything like this, so we're just going to give it a shot. So we'll do numbered list equals true. Else we can do li, not li, sorry. We'll do unordered list. Class name. Classes dot link container. I have no idea if this is going to work. And then here, numbered list equals true. Else, of course not. Yeah, this wouldn't make sense. It was wishful thinking though. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of that. And what we'll just do is that there, do numbered list, question mark. If not, we will do all of this, but instead as an unordered list. So that shouldn't change anything in my table of contents, but we'll double check. Perfect. Now, just to double check it, if I remove the numbered list, yeah, it sets it back to that. Okay. So some things got set roughly back to normal. There's an inline or inset box there that I want to get rid of. What is happening here? Margin top, and we'll do margin bottom, which should fix that. And let's do iframes. We can set border none. Gets rid of that inset box for us. That's my own grid. All of those should be fine. I think I need to do nothing there and just do line height of maybe 1 by 1. Nope. Okay, so it's definitely not line height. But now, yeah, line height maybe 1.2. Normal. 1.3. Because that just felt a little tight there. Yeah, all this feels a little tight. .6 feels good. Sure. So we can do that. So content with map seems to be better. Step, sponsored section. All right, so here we got our pain point. So let's, which is a pain for me. Okay, so what is broken here? I don't see any classes on this. So now, overflow hidden. I mean, that's helpful. That's one thing that needs to happen. So I think maybe all image text should have height auto, maybe. Okay, and then width of 100%. There we go. Okay. So it seems like there was a responsive thing there. We'll fix that. Okay, all that's good, all that's good, all that's good. That's the body has, ugh, I forgot all about this. Body, we'll do margin of 0. That looks good. So we should be in good shape now. And then if I drop that down, I've got to unstyle these buttons. So let's go to the nav. So we'll do the nav, we'll do the client logos, and then we may call it quits there. All right. Nav item, I believe. Link button. So last item, list item. So we need both of those, but wait, I want to do this at the global level because we want to unset our button text. It seemed to do okay here. Let's do a text decoration none. Go ahead and get rid of that. But now, what's happening here? Weird. Okay. Nav item. Block. Let's see what happens here. All right, so it looks good all the way up to there. Okay. So weird. Okay. So let's go ahead and unset all these buttons. And so there are a few button styles, so I think I can just come here and do unset button styles in CSS. So we're just going to copy and paste this, but we don't really care about those. Come back over here. Button looks better. I'll fix that. Now we come here. Yep. All right. So button styled. There's some weirdness happening here, though. So it looks good there. But then as this things increase by, it's not the text size. So there's must be some kind of percentage base that I'm doing here. I don't see anything, so let's refresh, see what happens. Weird. Map item, list item. Is it maybe the whole container? Let's take a look. So nav item, this looks fine. I need to still fix that, but I don't even know why that is this way. Text align center. The padding? No, it's not the padding. It's the width. Okay, so I can get rid of that safely. Well, wait, can I? Yes. All right, so drop down menu. Drop down menu. There is no important there. I did get rid of that. List item width. That can go away and should not impact anything. But still, something weird happening. Okay, so nav, drop down menu, border radius. This is going to be a problem when I'm on the oh wait, no, it's not. That won't be the problem. This will be the problem. If the color is accent. So it actually needs to be, we'll try it out later when I actually get there, because this is, the CTA will disappear since it has a BG of accent already. Okay, so that's a reminder for later. So we've got our drop-down menu. Which is here, our nav bar links. Width can be 100%, yes, that's fine. Blur is fine, not worried about that. Okay, that's fine. Min height, I think, is maybe what's happening then. So does that even matter, having min height? Don't think so. So let's find our 50 view height. So minimum height doesn't actually matter, I don't think. So if I get rid of that, that should fix everything there. Perfect, beautiful, wonderful. So I think these could be a little bit bigger for mobile. So let's go ahead and do our list item and do a rem of 2 and 2. Oh, that's just for that. Honestly, I think that's fine there, but we can do list item padding of 2. Yeah, no, that doesn't look good. Perfect. So now each of those are bigger. Oh, we need to do it for the last item too. Last 2. There we go. So that feels better. Now if we make this bigger though. So it's small break. Is that when I go into my grid? Because that's maybe a bit too big. Where at, let's see, we can do at include, we'll do mid break. We can do padding 1 rem instead. Okay, so no, it must be our medium small break. There we go. I guess our small break then, wow. Perfect, go here. Cool, then we open this up and we should be able to do that for everything. So I actually already have a small break. Add that there. And do that for our list items as well. List item, small break, list item there. Small break. Cool, looks good. Perfect. So we need to adjust that a little bit, but not by much, so that's good. So top needs to be 126. Here. And then big break. $101. And so really, let's actually set, that's going to mess up some things. So I'm going to make the padding on these a little bit bigger. Do maybe 2 rem, not 2, 1.5. 1.7 rem. Does that feel good? Yeah, I think so. Cool. So let's set that to just in the drop-down menu at small break, do 1.7 rem instead. Shouldn't affect anything there. And then we come here. Nothing's affected. Good. Perfect. So why didn't this span? Oh, I guess I need to set, let me get rid of that, our default color. Oh wait, so this is actually going to be a media. Content, no media. Come here and do I guess I need to do it for A as well. There we go. Cool. So that should handle just about everything. So we've got our content with media backdrop, content with media as a grid, 2-card header, 3 cards, and then we've got our 4 cards here. Okay. Content with video to the left, content with video to the right, which, let me make sure. If I go to content with video, the first one should have so we have our active video channel image, text position to the left for the first one, so that, yep, content with the video to the left, and then the second one should be to the right. Perfect. Okay, so that's about all of that. Oh, client logos need to get fixed. We'll never have a link in the FAQ section, so I'll fix that as well. Oh, this is atrocious padding as well. That's not even the padding there. Why did this decide? Okay, whatever. So, I mean, it looks fine. Oh, I think it's just it's a height thing. Okay, so let's fix that real quick. So if I go to my FAQs, we're going to go to our FAQ item, which is going to have our height set. So if I do, get rid of that, and then do so I don't want to do plus 40. There we go, that looks way better. Okay. Gotta love it. Okay, so that's all good. That question. So I think in general, if I set my global style, then to have A included, that should fix that, but should not overwrite that. Perfect. We'll fix the client logos and then we'll call it quits. This just looks off compared to what it was before. So we'll come back to that too. All right, so take a looky here. Client logos, we'll go right half, do that. So we need client logos. So the logo, I just need to set the size of it. So if I can do height auto, and then we can keep width at 50%. What's 60% gonna do? Sure. And then we can set our margin to auto. We actually set our margin top to be, let's say 1 rem. And then nothing on the bottom. Need more than 1 rem. I wonder if this is another job for, instead of grid, we can do flex. So let's take a look. So we will, we'll need this, but let's do, dang it, that. Let's do display flex, space between, sure. Row gap is fine. Oh, hold on. Instead of doing this, before we go that route, I think the problem is that I'm trying to shrink the wrong thing. So let's do width of 50%. I still want to do it with flex. Let's take a look. Let's do flex. Then get rid of that. Keep our column gap, that's fine. And then we can do our flex of 1, 0, 100%. Then we can do our flex of 1 or 0, 0, 48%. And then our flex of 0, 0, 30%. Let's get rid of all of this real quick. Where'd all my logos go? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing again. No, I'm not. This is logos. We've got a logo. We have a logo underneath it. Oh, I need to then do flex wrap. So there's that. Then we grow, then we keep growing. So those logos are really big though. So if I can set these to have just want them to be smaller. All right, so that's not working like I want. All right, so let's just back all that up. And then set these widths to be, we'll say 25%. Max width of 33% instead. Again, not loving that. This here, maybe I can do how do I get this into the center? Well, I don't need a line item, so let's get rid of that. Yeah, so maybe I need to unset the width. That should fix, yeah, okay, so. I mean, this is about how big the logos would be, which means that maybe I can't help but shake that this needs to be a flex. So let's just take our steps here and copy it. So I guess the difference is that it's not images. So we'll try it though. So let's take logos and go ahead and get rid of that. do this as logo. Keep last logo the same for a second. Which that means I should go to steps with icons and take this for the small break. So that goes right, okay. Okay, and for the large, I don't even know if I don't have last logo going right now, so great. So at large, though, we'll bring in the 1, 0 again. So as it gets larger, yeah. But now the logos still are too large, so I should be able to set a width of Oh, and at the large break, I do want this to be include. We can do actually. Yeah, we'll do the large break. We can do justify content space between. So maybe I can keep it like this, but not at the large break. I can do, let's see. See, those will probably be fine there. Here, I need to change something because I'm not going to use these icons ever, but I would use something. I'm going to scroll all the way up. Okay. So let's go to logos. Instead of these, let's just get the payload one for all of them. There we go. So that's closer to how it's going to look. Where'd they go? There it is. So yeah, I'm cool with that. So yes, that's fine. Perfect. Okay. Great. Oh, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see there's a little bit of a white background on these. Let's do background. We'll just say green. So there's those white backgrounds. I wonder if this is going to work. It works in Photoshop, but maybe it'll work here too. I can do blend mode. Oops. let's do, I do multiply. Dang it. Background green. Okay, so it didn't work like I wanted it to. Let's see here. Blend. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's the mixed blend mode. So anything with a white background would just blend in. Obviously, I would do these as transparent, either SVGs or PNGs, but fun little fact there, you can use mixed blend mode to multiply out the whites. All right, so I think this is fine. Is this the small break? Yeah, so it's small. Let's actually do where they can all fit. So all good, all good, all good, all the way good. So, and if we're going to do it there, we can just do the small break, do space between, get rid of this. And so now we have space between all the way to the big screen. Okay, so that was a roundabout way of something that I didn't actually want to do right now, but here we go. All right, so I can get rid of the last logo because we no longer have that problem. So we have our client logos all done. Perfect. Yeah, that's the smallest it gets, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so that is everything. So next, what we need to do is get a hero section in here. So we do have the hero section here. So I've got an image with some CTAs, a headline. This is a headline. I want to be able to have some text to actually play with. And then we have our SEO stuff to work with as well. So we will get to work on all of that next time. But for now, we did cover quite a bit. So getting rid of all of the Tailwind classes and all of the code. So I don't have any more of that, which is great. So now it's all going to be my custom CSS. Then we have, we removed all of the base styles from Tailwind, which screwed everything up, but we got that fixed pretty quickly. And then other than that, I mean, it was a lot of work. We did quite a bit in the hour and a half we've been here. So got some more work to do with, got to get a footer, got to get a hero, got to get the SEO stuff in place, and then we're making good progress. So after we do all of that, we can actually build out things like the contact page, which we need a contact page. So I'm planning on using Payload's form builder for that. If that doesn't work, I want to be able to have a selector for like a HubSpot form or something similar. So all that to come, but all of like the general styles are all done. So excited for that. But thanks for hanging out. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe, get notifications, whatever you need to do to see whenever I stream. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.